Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to, cut through the noise and really get you those insights you need. Today, we're strapping in. We're taking a deep look into AMD, their recent market performance. Well, it's been something else. What your sources show, it's not just a few bumps in the road. We're talking about a chip giant caught in a mix of innovation, geopolitics, investor frenzy. It feels like a pivotal moment. Okay, so let's unpack this. You've given us a really fascinating stack of articles, research, your notes. Our mission today, extract the key nuggets. What's really driving AMD right now? We'll focus on AI, obviously, but also this geopolitical volatility impacting the whole sector. Because AMD's stock, it's been on an absolute roller coaster lately. I mean, surging near its 52-week high, then bam, sudden drop, trading volume spiking, then settling. It's like a perfect snapshot of investor feeling, headline swings, all that. So let's set the stage, the immediate market picture, because, yeah, quite a ride. Just in August, AMD surged, what was it, close to $186.65. That's near the 52-week high. But then today, August 25th, 2025, it dropped 2.3%.
That feels like a pretty quick turnaround for such a big name.
It absolutely is. And what's really telling is looking at the trading volumes. They perfectly mirror that investor anxiety. We saw this huge spike, over 133 million shares traded back on August 6th.
Wow, 133 million.
Yeah. And just to give you some context, that's almost triple the volume from just a few weeks before. A surge like that, it signals something big happened, right? A major catalyst, a sudden rush, maybe buying, maybe selling. Then it settled back down. Today, it's around a steady 44 million shares. This up and down, it really illustrates those intense headline-driven swings we're seeing. It's almost like the market has whiplash trying to keep up.
Whiplash.
Yeah.
Or maybe whack-a-mole for investors trying to figure it out.
Right.
So, okay, with that picture of volatility, the big question is, what's really behind these dramatic shifts? In price, in volume, it feels like a tug of war. Some huge positive forces, some pretty strong negative ones, too.
Precisely. And let's start with the positive side, because there was a really significant development actually just today, August 25th. Saudi Arabia's Herein, they broke ground on new data centers. And this is the critical part. They confirmed a massive $10 billion joint venture with AMD.
That's billion, with a B.
10 billion, yeah. This isn't just some minor deal. It's really strategic. It massively boosts AMD's AI clout, especially in the Middle East. It opens up this huge new market for their AI chips, gets them a solid foothold in a region that's just rapidly expanding its digital infrastructure, its AI capabilities. For AMD, it's a clear signal, that demand is global, way beyond the usual markets.
That is a headline grabber. No doubt. A clear win for their AI strategy.
Yeah.
$10 billion. That's huge. But then, okay, here's where it gets tricky. There's this fascinating, almost contradictory thing that happened just before the Saudi news. On August 11th, AMD confirmed it got no export licenses for AI chips to China. Now, that sounds positive, right? Like maybe restrictions are easing, more market access.
It does sound positive, yes. And for a moment there, it definitely lifted sentiment. But the plot thickened almost instantly. The very next day, August 12th, Bloomberg reported that China is actually urging its own firms to avoid AMD and NVIDIA AI chips, at least for sensitive projects.
Avoid them, so one day licenses, the next day don't use them.
Exactly. The striking thing is just how fast these contrasting reports came out. One day, a door seems to open. The next day, a different door slams shut. And this isn't just about trade figures. It's a stark, real-time lesson in how quickly a perceived win for AMD can be, well, neutralized by geopolitics. For investors, the real insight here, I think, is realizing AMD isn't just selling chips. They're constantly navigating this global chessboard. Market access can be given and then taken away almost overnight. It forces you to rethink long-term growth in key places. And just to be clear, we're just reporting the facts from your sources here, illustrating this incredibly complex, sometimes conflicting landscape.
That's a really important distinction, not just what happened, but how fast it flipped. And what that signals about the instability, maybe. It shows how quickly the tides can turn. Okay, so shifting gears a bit from geopolitics, let's talk about AMD's core performance, because despite all this volatility, the company's actually put up some solid numbers, right? Underlying strength. Like on August 13th, the stock hit $174.95. That's up, what, over 56% in just 6 months? That kind of growth doesn't just happen by accident.
No, it certainly doesn't. And that impressive stock run, it is backed by genuine financial strength. For instance, your sources show Q2 revenue, it came in at $7.7 billion.
Right.
Which was up a remarkable 32% year over year. And it actually beat the forecasts. Actual was $7.69 billion versus estimates around $7.41 billion.
Beating estimates is always good news.
It is. It builds confidence. And they also hit a record 30.2% desktop CPU market share. That's a big indicator that their products are really gaining ground against, tough competition. And looking forward, they've got this next-gen AI platform, Helios, plus bullish GPU forecasts that definitely keeps analysts interested, optimistic even. It paints a picture of a company firing on multiple cylinders, innovating across the board.
Okay, speaking of things that keep people talking, our sources picked up an interesting detail from August 12th. Paul Darren Grasby, he's an EVP at AMD, he sold 10,000 shares for about $1.73 million. And this was at an average price of $173.21, right when AMD was trading near that 52-week high. Now, an insider selling near a peak, sometimes that raises eyebrows, right?
Yeah.
Suggests maybe they think it's overvalued. But then you have analysts setting even higher targets. How do you square that circle for our listener? Or is it just noise?
That's a very perceptive question. It's a common dilemma, actually. While an insider sale, yeah, it can make you pause, you really have to put it in context. Insiders sell for lots of reasons. Personal financial planning, maybe diversifying their own portfolio, covering taxes sometimes. It's not always a direct signal about the company's future.
Right.
It's really just one data point in a much bigger picture. What's important is to look at it alongside the broader analyst view. And in early August, we saw mostly positive sentiment. Barclays, Stifel, Raymond James, they all set price targets between $190 to $200. Mizuho went even higher, $205. And maybe most significantly, Bank of America added AMD to their US 1 list.
Ah, the US 1 list. That's a big endorsement.
It really is. That list is for their top investment ideas. It shows strong conviction in AMD's potential. But, and here's where we connect it back to the bigger picture. It's a nuanced story. While many are bullish, you also had Citi Research, for example, flagging a neutral stance around August 13th. And the overall analyst mean target is $183.87. That suggests what, maybe 12% upside from current levels?
12%.
But, and this is critical, but those fair value models, the ones looking at intrinsic value from financials, they're actually less generous. This really highlights a potential disconnect. You've got huge market enthusiasm for AI, but maybe the fundamental valuation metrics aren't quite keeping pace yet. It's like the market is pricing in a lot of future growth already, maybe even more than the numbers currently justify.
That's a crucial insight.
Yeah.
It seems AMD's definitely riding that AI wave, generates huge excitement. But those caution flags are up when you look at the fundamentals. That price-to-earnings ratio, 107.3x, that's high, significantly elevated compared to history or even its peers.
Right. And this raises a really important question for anyone looking at AMD. How much of that future growth is already priced in? A PE over 100, that's a premium price tag. It suggests the market has incredibly high hopes for AMD's future earnings, especially from AI. Now, our sources suggest that based on analyst models, AMD is currently trading about 8.6% below fair value.
Low. Okay, that sounds good on the surface.
It does, but when you put it next to that really high PE ratio, it just underscores the tension, right? Tension between the broad market excitement for anything AI-related and the more grounded fundamental valuation models. For you, the listener, the key isn't just knowing the PE is high, it's asking, is that premium genuinely justified by AMD's disruptive potential in AI? Or is it an over-enthusiastic market just projecting growth maybe a bit too optimistically? It's essentially a high-stakes bet on that future.
And we just can't ignore that constant drumbeat of geopolitics, can we? Like we saw with China, the quick shift from export licenses to domestic directives, U.S.-China chip policy, all the export rule drama, it can absolutely swing sentiment overnight. It's this unpredictable force that AMD and, frankly, lots of tech giants just have to deal with. It really is like playing chess where the rules keep changing mid-game.
That's a perfect analogy, yeah. This geopolitical volatility, it's fundamentally baked into this sector now. It just adds this layer of uncertainty that can overshadow even great financial results or product news. And it's also worth remembering, AMD doesn't offer a dividend.
Right, no dividend.
So that makes it a pure growth play. And, well, a volatility play. You're not getting income from holding it. You're betting purely on the stock price going up, on the company executing its growth plans, especially in AI, despite all these external pressures. It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
And for those who follow the charts, the technicals, even those signals are mixed, adding another layer of complexity here. While the monthly trend for AMD, it still looks broadly bullish, suggesting long-term confidence maybe. Short-term indicators, like the 1 hour, the daily charts, they're currently pointing to strong sell and sell. That split between the long-term bullish view and short-term bearishness is fascinating, isn't it? Different time horizons telling very different stories.
It certainly is, yeah. It really highlights that battle between the long-term potential, driven by the AI story and their solid product roadmap. And the immediate market pressures, daily news, profit-taking, those geopolitical shifts we talked about. For a short-term trader, those signals are critical. But for a long-term investor, maybe that monthly trend offers more comfort. It just goes to show there's rarely a single simple answer when you're analyzing a stock like AMD right now.
So, okay, let's try and bring this all together.
Yeah.
Synthesize what you've shared. AMD's journey, it really feels like a microcosm of the whole tech sector right now. This complex mix of incredible innovation, intense market enthusiasm, these powerful, often unpredictable geopolitical forces, and just shifting investor psychology. Hopefully, you've now gained a much deeper understanding of the forces really at play for this critical company, right at the heart of the AI revolution. This deep dive, it's meant to give you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Not just about AMD, but about the bigger dynamics shaping global tech.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground today, from those massive Saudi deals to the very nuanced geopolitical dance with China, strong financials, insider trading questions, diverse analyst views. It all paints this incredibly dynamic picture.
Indeed. So given all these layers we've unpacked, the breakthroughs, the headwinds from geopolitics, the insider moves, the analyst takes, how do you think about the future path for a company like AMD? What factors do you believe will ultimately decide its trajectory in this super fast evolving tech landscape, especially with that tension between its innovation potential and all those external pressures it faces constantly? That's definitely something worth mulling over.